action again, because if they get it wrong after this Snow White thing, I don't know how Disney recovers from it.
Not fallen prey to wokeness and nonsense in recent years, even if Disney still had the most talented people in the world working.
Scaling down their plans for the premiere, and right now they're in damage mitigation phase. They've been in that for a while. They're expecting.
So tell me why one of the world's most magical studios, the same one that gave us The Lion King, Aladdin, and Frozen, is now being dragged across the internet like a failed reality show contestant? Yep. Disney's Snow White remake was supposed to be their next crown jewel, but instead, it turned into one of their biggest disasters ever. From public outrage, political backlash, a box office flop, to their own lead actress being threatened with legal action. Girl, this ain't a fairy tale anymore, it's a full-blown meltdown. And trust me, what went down behind the scenes? It's even messier than what we saw on screen. So buckle up, because this is the story of how Disney's Snow White remake went from happily ever after to a full-on PR horror story, and what it reveals about the industry, fame, and how fast a brand's magic can disappear. It all started out kind of cute, actually. Disney announced they were doing a live-action Snow White, and everyone was like, okay, cool, another remake. We've seen this before. After all, Disney's been reimagining its animated classics for years, and while not all of them were hits, there was still hype. They had a massive budget, a built-in fan base, and Rachel Zegler, fresh off her West Side Story fame, was cast as the new Snow White. Girl was glowing, singing, dancing. It all looked like a dream come true. But then, she opened her mouth. Now, let's be clear. Speaking your mind shouldn't be a crime. But Rachel did more than just speak her mind. She basically slammed the original 1937 Snow White, calling it weird, creepy, and outdated. She even joked that the prince was a bit of a stalker. And listen, I get wanting to make things modern, but girl, this is Snow White. You're leading a film that literally helped build the Disney empire. Maybe don't drag it through the mud. Social media exploded. Fans felt like she was mocking the very character she was supposed to represent. The words "childhood ruined" trended for days. And that's when things started getting ugly. Because Disney wasn't just facing online backlash, they were sitting on a ticking time bomb. Now, here's where things get spicy. Behind closed doors, Rachel Zegler was reportedly summoned, yes, summoned, to a high-level legal meeting with Disney's lawyers. And this wasn't your typical PR chat. No, ma'am. Sources say it was serious. Like, you might be breaching your contract? Serious. See, when you sign onto a movie with a studio like Disney, it's not just about acting. You're expected to be a brand ambassador. You promote the film, you respect the legacy, and above all, you don't talk trash about the product. Disney was allegedly furious that Rachel's interviews were alienating fans, damaging the film's image, and hurting box office prospects. And since the movie was already looking like a flop, the studio wanted someone to blame. Guess who they chose? Yup. Snow White herself. Rumors even started circulating that Disney was considering legal action. Not because Rachel said one thing, but because she kept saying things online, in interviews, even during red carpets. One insider claimed that Disney viewed her behavior as detrimental to the company's reputation and financial outcome. Can you imagine going from red carpets to courtroom threats in less than a year? If things weren't chaotic enough, the political drama came swinging next. Rachel Zegler made a public statement in support of one side of a major global conflict. And shortly after, her co-star Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen, posted her own message supporting the other side. Just like that, Snow White, a story about friendship and kindness, was being dragged into a political battlefield. People were fuming. Disney's marketing team was in panic mode. Fans on both sides were threatening boycotts. And for a family-friendly brand like Disney, this was a PR disaster. Suddenly, the film wasn't just woke or modernized, it was divisive. Producers scrambled. Director Mark Webb reportedly begged the cast to stay quiet online. Mark Platt, the producer, even sent his son Jonah to smooth things over with Rachel in person. But by then, the damage was done. Disney's carefully controlled fairy tale was being torn apart in real time, and no one could stop it. Now here's the tea that really shook the fandom. Some people started whispering about sabotage. No joke. The theory? That Disney had set Rachel up to be the fall girl. According to people close to the situation, Rachel was told to lean hard into the girl boss empowerment angle. That meant downplaying the romance, ditching the damsel vibes, and emphasizing independence. But when that strategy flopped with the public, suddenly Disney turned on her. Her team claimed she was just following direction, that all those outdated fairy tale comments were literally what she was told to say. So was she a puppet for Disney's marketing experiment? Or did she genuinely go rogue and start dragging the original original Snow White for clout? Honestly, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, but what is clear is that there was zero creative alignment. Some execs wanted a bold reimagining, others wanted a traditional remake. The final result? A Franken movie that tried to be woke and nostalgic at the same time, and ended up being neither. Even the 7 dwarfs weren't safe. They weren't dwarfs anymore. They were magical beings of different sizes and backgrounds, which sparked a whole new wave of controversy. Fans were like, what even is this movie? And by the time the film hit theaters, the writing was already on the castle walls. Let's talk numbers. Because this is where Disney's fairy tale officially turned into a horror story. Disney reportedly poured up to $270 million into this movie. They expected a global hit like Beauty and the Beast or The Lion King. Instead, the movie barely scraped $40 million in domestic revenue and couldn't even double that globally in the first few weeks. Yikes. Reviewers weren't kind either. Words like soulless, confused, and off-brand were thrown around like poisoned apples. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film got demolished by critics and fans alike. It became the lowest-rated Disney remake in years. So naturally, the blame game began. Some pointed fingers at producer Mark Platt. Others blamed Disney's corporate meddling. And a lot of people, they blamed Rachel, saying her controversial statements and political posts torpedoed the entire film's chances. It was a mess. A loud, public, expensive mess. And worst of all, nobody wanted to take responsibility. So what now? Well, behind the scenes, things have gone nuclear. According to multiple sources, Disney's legal team has been combing through cast contracts, trying to figure out who technically broke the rule. Rachel Zegler's contract, like many actors, likely included clauses about maintaining a positive public image and avoiding any disparaging comments about the film or studio. From Disney's point of view, her interviews, tweets, and political commentary were all potential violations, and they're reportedly exploring legal penalties or financial compensation for the damage done. Rachel's team is pushing back hard. They say Disney encouraged her to be outspoken, that she was following the branding strategy from day one. And if the movie flopped, that's on the studio, not the actress who was just doing what she was told. But whether or not lawsuits are filed, one thing's clear. This scandal might seriously damage Rachel's career. She went from next big thing to cautionary tale in under a year. And in Hollywood, that kind of fall from grace hits hard, especially when you're just getting started. And now, the ripple effect is coming for Disney's entire remake strategy. Shareholders are furious. Executives are panicking. Future remakes like Hercules, Lilo and Stitch, and Tangled are under review. Rumor has it that Disney is rewriting marketing plans, tightening contracts, and trying to claw back control of its once flawless image. Fans are losing trust. Gen Z and millennials, the audiences Disney depends on, are feeling alienated. Some think the remakes are disrespectful. Others think they're bland cash grabs. And now that the Snow White drama has exposed how messy things really are behind the curtain, the fairy tale might be over for good. Disney was once the gold standard for childhood nostalgia, but now they're a case study in what happens when brand image, creative vision, and real-world politics collide. So where does this leave us? Well, Disney's Snow White remake was supposed to be a celebration, a magical return to a beloved classic, but instead it became a cautionary tale, not about poisoned apples, but about the dangers of trying to please everyone and ending up pleasing no one. The actress, caught between empowerment and brand loyalty. The studio, trapped in its own web of contradictions. And the audience, left wondering if any remake will ever recapture the magic of the originals. As we wait to see whether legal action actually goes down, or if Rachel Zegler can recover from this PR firestorm, one thing's for sure. This is one fairy tale Disney wishes it never told. Because in 2025, the magic isn't just gone, it's under investigation.